You have to tell me what
Just look at the camera. Don't be weird. Just look at the camera.
I've not done this. I record my podcast in my house alone in the dark.
I know. Anyway, hi guys. I'm Nobukumalo. Welcome to my channel. And if you're coming back, welcome back. I have my first guest on the show.
I'm so honored.
This is my friend, my lovely friend Ropa, the auntie to the babies here.
Yeah.
They are no babies, by the way, but when the babies come, she's
Come see titles.
This is my dear friend Ropa. I met Ropa when I came to the UK. I met her in 2019 at church. It's been a while. She's one of the few people I met when I came, and I met a few people, but you know, there are some people who you meet, you talk, and then people move away, life happens, then you fall off. But like, she's been the real Chi.
She's the real one.
She's been a constant, and yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Ropa. Ropa.
Are you gonna have to speak
Or
louder?
Ropa with Afro, if you know me from the internet streets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here. I'm really honored to be the first guest. Honestly, this is gonna be fun. What do I do?
Yeah, tell us everything.
I have a podcast called AJENDA. It's a play on my actual middle name, Jen. So, AJENDA. And I'm a scientist. I am the auntie to the baby. I'm a sister. I'm that loud girl that you meet. It's me. And today I'm part-time chef.
She's part-time chef. So actually, I have been under the weather, and Ropa and I are always trying to meet, and then the combo is just the So I've been quite sick, and then she's like, "Friend, can we do dinner on Sunday?" And I was like, "I'm dying." She's like, "I'm like, you wanna come cook for me?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." So she's here to cook for me.
Honestly, I feel like I've cooked for you more than I've cooked for anyone else.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're lying.
I'm telling you, I don't cook for people.
So, Ropa, what are you cooking for us today?
Right. So we've got 3 cloves of garlic, 2 chicken breasts that we've cut into bite-sized pieces, 1 bell pepper, and 1 onion. You want curry powder, crushed chilies, chicken seasoning, paprika, and a bit of aromat. About 7 cherry tomatoes, depending on the size, and cheese, whatever your heart desires, because you want some to go in the pasta and some to kind of put on top. Some double cream.
Bring that into frame.
So double cream, also.
Cool. All right. What's it called? Does it have a name?
I don't think it has. It might have a name, but I just like it.
We're just
it's
winging
just a
it.
creamy pasta.
Okay, it's a creamy pasta. Cool. So that's what we are making today. So when Ropa said she's coming to cook for me, I thought it might be nice to have a little chat, because we're always talking about random stuff. And so we decided that maybe today we should talk about adulting, right? And so I asked Ropa what about adulting she wants to talk about. Because her podcast, by the way, is primarily about...
Yeah, just like adulting stuff. I thought I wanted to start a podcast where instead of talking about all the crazy things that are happening in other worldly things, I think I really struggle to come into terms of, like, you're an adult and you experience different things that no one has prepared you for. So I wanted to kind of have a platform that we can share, like, guys, I'm really going through this. Is it normal? And how am I coping with it? And then have people kind of give me also like, oh yeah, actually your experience is not that different, because I also experienced it and this is how I coped with it.
You're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone, because sometimes it really feels like you're going through this whole thing on your own.
Yeah. And
then you realize, actually, we're a whole full circle of people that are experiencing the same thing. Yeah. So why not share it? I mean, we can't come here to suffer, honestly.
Yeah, so then we decided, let's just talk about choosing yourself. Choosing yourself. Adulting thing. So this is gonna be a somewhat cook along, not the whole entire time, because obviously cooking will take a bit of time and there'll be noise and all that. But as she prepares her breast and we shred the cheese and all that, we're just gonna have a chat about choosing you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Adulting, choosing you. I feel as you grow up, society, and we are part of society, by the way, we have so many expectations. We set so many targets or milestones that we expect people of a certain gender and people of a certain age to reach by a certain time. And even when we were kids, right? I laugh sometimes because I remember when I was a kid, or not a kid, but maybe in my high school, I had everything figured out that I wanted to get married by 23, then have my first baby by 25, and then maybe the second by 27, then be done by like, if I have three, like by 29, I'm done. So you have these plans about how you want your life to turn out, and then you grow up and you realize, oh shucks, like, it actually doesn't work like that.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Honestly.
Have a little thingy.
Look at me.
And then you realize that it doesn't work like that.
Honestly, too adulting. I think that's the hardest part, when you've been telling yourself like, oh, I need to do this and do that and do that, and then you're actually at that age, you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
And then reconcile. I think for me, the reason why I really wanted to talk about choosing yourself is when you get to that point and you realize, oh, this is actually not how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's now making that decision to be kind to yourself and choose you and say, right, this is where I'm at. This is what I wanted to do, but it doesn't look like it's realistic, or it doesn't fit the person that I am anymore. Because the me that was 15 and was making plans of, oh, I'm going to do this, is not the same me at 29. Like, we're completely, a lot of things have changed. So now that I'm 29 and I'm no longer 15 years, how can I choose the me that is now so that we can have a better life? I think that is where the hardest job then comes. Guys, I'm just cutting these into sort of bite-sized pieces.
Maybe we can just show them.
Yeah.
So this is what they look like. I hope you guys can see. Yeah, this is what they look like. And we've already chopped everything like I showed you. Yeah.
So, and I think I was talking to my brother about how I was so sure when I was like younger that I was going to be like in aviation. I was going to be a pilot for sure. Like, no one could tell me anything else. Look at me now. I don't even work adjacent to the aviation
But your
industry.
brother is living out
But
your
my
dream.
brother is the one who's going to become a pilot, and he wanted to do medicine.
So you guys are
So
almost,
we
almost
literally
because
switched.
you're in like biomed stuff, and he's in aviation, and you kind of swim.
I know.
Actually, when you speak about it, my sister and I kind of switched already.
Really?
Also, because like in high school, I was the sciences kid, so I did sciences right until my A levels, and she did like arts right until her A levels. And then when she went to uni, she went to study something science, which is like nutrition and dietetics. And I went and studied law.
Honestly,
so like life really just doesn't work.
It will switch around.
Okay.
But even for me to make that decision, like, okay, Ropa, you cannot go. Not because I didn't have the points to do it or whatever. It was at the point where I was like, but that it's no longer fitting with how, like, what my life goal and what my life mission is right now. I do not want to do aviation. It's when I think of things that spark joy in my life, that's not it anymore.
That's not it.
I enjoy people flying me around. Do not want to fly anyone anyway.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think. Hey friend, what has been the biggest adjustment you've had to make with your plans? Like, what is that one thing that you thought was gonna go a certain way? I know there are a lot of things we've already spoken about, but what is that one biggest thing that you thought would work out a certain way, which you had to look in the face and be like, it's not going.
If I tell you, I honestly thought by the time I turned 30 I would have my PhD. Okay. I thought I would have it, but I realized, like, when I did my undergrad, I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare, and obviously that's what I'm doing now. But I realized that I needed to refocus why I even wanted to do it. So initially, you would have asked me, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to do a PhD and I'm going to focus on like virology and work in I would have been one of those corona scientists.
Well, you were
like,
in
I kind of am, but
because remember during the peak of COVID,
it was
telling
madness.
that, oh, we test the samples, what. So you kind of,
but I had to take some time off. So I took some time off and I went back home to Zim, and I was volunteering and stuff. And it really brought back into focus, like, no, Ropa, you, as much as yes, you want to do diagnostic work, you want to research, but what you actually want to do is try and help improve healthcare systems in your space. So then that changed everything. It changed the kind of masters I was going to do. It changed the kind of departments I was going to work in, because I could have just gone and worked in like hematology or something like that, but it actually changed everything. And even with that, it was like, you're going to have a PhD when you're 30 and you're going to be married by the time you're 30.
I'm not laughing at my friend. I'm laughing because we've had this conversation so many times.
So many times.
Okay, we can get to the marriage one after.
Yeah.
Let's finish the PhD
So,
one and then.
and also even, and the other thing that I had to choose was recognizing what does a PhD mean to me.
Okay.
Am I wanting a PhD because Ropa was genuinely want it, or do I want it for the accolades?
Exactly,
You know?
Exactly.
And I always laugh. I say to my parents, if I get a PhD, you guys need to stop calling me Ropa. You have to stop saying doctor.
Look at that. All the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons.
Uh-huh.
But then, and even now, I keep telling myself, do you know what? It would be nice for me to have a PhD, but I want it because it's going to mean something. I want it because it's going to give me access to the things that matter. And even if it takes me being 55 to get that PhD, if it's a PhD that's worthwhile, if it's a PhD that is adding value not just to my title, but value to my work, and it's something that I deeply desire, because I might end up doing a PhD in film studies. Who knows?
Yeah.
But is it propelling me and is it bringing me joy? That's the key. And I think choosing to find joy in your work and in yourself, adjustment changed my life. Because sometimes we do things because we're choosing to bring joy to our families, to bring joy to our partners, to our friends, and you yourself are suffering. You're just there like, I'm overwhelmed. Why am I doing this? No, choose your own joy and be like, yeah, you know what? This is worth it to me.
And I think, it's fascinating that you speak about how sometimes we choose the joy of the people in our lives and not our joy. When I think back to my decision to study law, for example, right? Like I said, I'd always been a science kid, right? And then after A-levels, the time came for applying to uni and all that. And my dad kind of always had this idea that I would be a doctor or a pharmacist or something like that. And to be fair, I don't want it to look like my dad was pushing me into this. No, I was gifted in those sciences. I was in those subjects, and I was capable of doing it. I was enjoying it then as well. So it's not like he was putting undue pressure on me. But yeah, he always had this dream. And then when I came to a point where I realized that maybe I actually don't want to do the science stuff for the rest of my life, it was a bit of a struggle, right? I remember I went to SA with the aim of going to apply for something science. So I actually applied for pharmacy, and I even applied for electrical medicine, I applied for bio something. But then when I went to UP, I was like, let me just apply for law. I had told my dad that I want to study law, but he kind of thought,
it's gonna pass.
Playing around. And then, but when I got to SA and I was on the ground, I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna apply for law, And I remember at that time, I think my dad was in the States, so I wasn't even home. So I couldn't even get home to even tell him about it because he was away for a couple of months. I remember I wrote him an email, right? Telling him that, Dad, I know that you don't want me to do sciences and all that, but I've searched myself and I really feel like I want to study law. So I applied for law at UP, what. And I expected him to be disappointed and try and push me towards doing what he always wanted to do. But I don't know his thought process. Remember, I wasn't at home, so if he was disappointed for a while, I'll never know. But I remember when he finally spoke to me about it and even spoke to my mom tells me that he said, no, let's let the child do what she wants to do, right? And what I'm driving at is that sometimes we're so busy trying to push the happiness of our families and what we think will make them happy, and we make up these scenarios in our head where if we don't choose the path they've chosen for us, it's going to be the biggest problem, and they're gonna make a fuss. But sometimes when you decide to choose yourself and to talk your people through it, you realize that all that they've always really wanted for you was to be happy.
And I think, do you know what? Sometimes it's also I was talking to my brother and I was like, sometimes you need to really learn that the ground is not going to open up and swallow you when you choose to do something that no one else thought you would do. The ground is still there. It's actually still there. It's gonna remain steady. And we, like you're saying, we build up the disappointment of others so much in our heads because they've always said that, they've always spoken that on you. But you know what? Maybe what they were actually trying to articulate, I speak success into your life, I speak fulfillment in your life. And to them, maybe fulfillment looks like a doctor.
Exactly.
But actually, fulfillment to you looks like I'm working in law. That's what fulfillment to you. So that's why they would not be disappointed in the way that you think, because the thing that they're driving at is, I want you to be fulfilled, I want you to be happy. Even with my mom, I was talking to my mom about my work now and me thinking, oh, do you know what? There were times where, especially in the pandemic, I was like, I just want to stop. I don't want to do it anymore because it felt really overwhelming. And she was asking me, but when you come back home after that long day, how are you feeling? What does that feel like to you? And if I'm being honest, I felt so content because I knew that I felt like my work was helping families that were, worried, people that were about to go into surgery, you don't know what you're doing. And if I managed to turn around the results in time, if I managed to make sure that my work is done well, even with like people in my circle that were like nervous about, oh, I don't know what about this, when I sat down and like, okay, I'm gonna send you a paper on, I made this presentation that just has a few points on what does it mean, what does the virus mean, what does a vaccine mean, and whatever, to see them be like them resolving their questions because of what I've done was fulfillment to me. And she was like, so if it's still fulfilling to you, I would not suggest you stop because you're going to cry because now you've lost that part that was filling you and was really helping you kind of just be a well-rounded person. Not that your job should be everything. I think that's also key. But if it still sparks joy, if it's still like I feel whole, keep it.
So this is actually deep. I zoned out for a minute when you said something, and like I wanted to hold on to you so I don't forget. When you spoke about they wish certain things for us because they think that fulfillment and joy and security looks like this, right? So I'll give the usual example for girls.
Yeah.
Maybe our parents wish marriage for us because, and beneath the marriage itself, what they wish for us is for us to be loved, for stability, for security and all that, right? And to them, what does stability and security and being loved look like for a girl child? Being married, right?
Yeah.
So it's about having those conversations. You say, okay, I hear that you want me to get married by 30. I hear that you want me to become a doctor. What about being a doctor is it that you want for me? If I can be successful, be financially stable and all that without being a doctor, would that make you happy?
Yeah.
And most of the times you find that they'll say yes.
Yeah, I'm
because
actually happy.
It's not about the actual thing, but it's about the fruits of the thing, what that thing brings.
And also we need to understand that sometimes like we're saying that certain things are limited by maybe the way that we view the thing.
Okay.
So when we might look at friendship, and I think that's a very key thing. Like people look at friendship and they're like, no, my friend needs to do this and do this. But when you look at it deeply, it's like my friends are there to remind me of things that matter. I'm there to remind them of things that matter. I'm there to see them in a different light that they would never see themselves. Sometimes I will be doing something and I'll be like, oh guys, this is really not working out. Like I don't know. And then my friend will be like, no, but Ropa, do you recognize that you were here before and that wasn't working, and see the growth that you've made and now you're here? And it brings perspective and you're like, oh, actually, no, we did pray about this and we did ask about this and here I am. So it's maybe you saying to that person, okay, I want you to look at it from this perspective because you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Take a different view and then you'll be like, oh, right, cool. Go and do what you want to do. Choose you in this regard. Yeah.
Let's drink to that. We haven't
honestly, we've left these drinks to just enjoy air.
So friends, tell us what's going on in there.
Yeah. So now we've got chicken in the pan. I just put all the marinades together, and then you want to heat up your oil a little bit so that it's kind of medium heat. I guess that's medium heat.
Yeah.
Medium high heat. Then you put it in the pan. Don't crowd it too much, but if you, because I think the moisture will seep in, and then it will be it loses the kind of crispiness that we want. Then we boil the pasta, and you want the pasta to not be fully done. You still want it to be a little bit firm.
Al dente.
Okay, come speak English. So you want it al dente. And then I'm going to, once the chicken is cooked through, because it's chicken breast, I don't want to cook it too long. I want to, because I'm going to add the tomatoes, I'm going to add the onion next, and then kind of let it stew and sip in all that good tomatoiness. Then I'll add the double cream and the pasta and a bit of cheese. You let it rest, then it's time to eat.
So how long do you think it takes in general?
To be honest, you could make this meal in about 25 minutes.
Perfect.
It would be good from start to finish.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So tell me, right? So we spoke briefly about, you thought you'd have your PhD, that you'd be married and all that. how, well, you're not married right now, choosing yourself. But I was trying to give a straight face. I even didn't wear my ring, so I don't make it.
I just had to, give a complete illustration.
But anyway, so the expectations that your family had on you, immediate, extended, and all that, expectations you had on yourself, and then time flies, time moves, and then you realize that, okay, the way I expected things to be is not what it looks like. I feel like it's an easier conversation to have with yourself than it is with your parents.
Yeah.
And I don't want to speak a lot on it because I haven't really, to be fair, I haven't really experienced that because I got married at 24.
Yeah.
So the pressure, I've never felt the pressure. So I don't want to project to impose. Yeah. I'd rather have you tell us what that's been like.
Do you know what? I think for me, there's certain things that I knew. I knew when I was really young, I did not want to be married in my 20s.
Okay.
For some reason, I said to myself, you know what? When you're in your 20s, we want to grow. We want to experience life. We want to travel. We want to do this. So I knew I did not want to be married when I was 20 something, but I wanted to meet the person I wanted to marry in my 20s. Lord, that's where the pandemic starts. That is where it actually starts. So
can I just say something, right? Please understand that Ropa and I have a relationship of our own. You guys might see me laughing and then you think I'm laughing at her. I'm not laughing at her pride. I'm not laughing at people who haven't met. I don't want you guys to go and say she's so insensitive to her friend.
No.
Just know that there's some inside
There's an inside joke
that I'll be laughing at.
So I think meeting people, I think that's where the issue was, because I keep having I think when I graduated, everyone had kind of given me time, because they're like, oh, she's in school, don't worry, don't ask her anything. Then I graduated, and then people would kind of ask you slightly like, so are you seeing anyone? What's going on? And I think then I used to be like, no, I'm not really seeing anyone. And also when I graduated, I kind of had something. There was something going on. Okay. So it was not like, no, I'm not seeing anyone. It was just like, there's a lingering, but I don't know. I can't articulate what the situation is. Then you finish graduating, you have a whole year of work, and then you're not bringing anyone home, and people are like, right. So, but with my parents, I think I was very, especially with my dad, because my dad and I are really close. We used to have conversations about how my dating was going. If I went on a first date or whatever, I would always tell him oh, okay, I went on a date with this guy, but he said this, or this is how we went, and whatever. So he kind of knew that I was trying to date, but sometimes it wasn't working out for me. Sometimes, but I think, like you're saying, to them, to my parents, especially, me being married was just, she's going to be okay. She's also going to find what we have. Do you get what I mean? Where we have this partnership that has taken us this long. We've got a family and whatever. So they really, they want that for me. But I had to sit them down and say, guys, I don't want you to look at me and think I'm not dating or I'm lacking or whatever. No. I also want to make sure that the partner that I'm going to have is going to provide me this 30-year long marriage that you have. And I can't just do that with any random stranger on the street. And funny enough, I did a social experience with my mom, because my mom used to be like, Ropa, you're picky. That's the reason why you're single. So picky. And to some extent that's true. I think little things can really annoy me, and little things can also really make me fall in love with someone, because it's like, oh, you've done this thing, but it means something to me. So I said to my mom, right, I'm going to give you 5 attributes that I think I'm uncompromising on in my future partner. I want someone who's kind. I want someone who's got a sense of humor, someone with ambition, and is currently working. Someone with a good relationship with their family, and someone with a good relationship with God. That's what I want. So I've given you these 5 things. I'm uncompromising. If you can find me someone that's like this, from I think it was last year November, from November to Valentine's Day, myself, I'm going to dress up and go on a date with them.
3 months only. That was a short time.
No, it was a long enough time. Because I didn't...
Or you're trying to prove something.
Because I didn't say to her, also, make sure that he lives in London, or he's... no. I could have even gone on a Zoom date. But I said, just find me someone... My mom could not find someone in 3 months. And I said, so do you see what I mean? So when I tell you that I'm not meeting people or I'm not really dating anyone that I can bring home, it's not because they're not people, but they are failing to meet certain attributes. But and I think that really came along with me sitting down and being like, right, Ropa, aside from wanting to meet your future husband in your 20s, what kind of person are you looking for? I had to really think about it myself and be like, right, you want this, because it makes sense for your life. But it also meant me sitting down and be like, what are you going to bring that person?
Okay.
It meant me choosing to be like, you need to go to therapy because you're not going to be in a relationship and be dysfunctional, because that's not fair.
Friend, let me stop you right there, because we live in a society where everyone's so finicky and fixated on what is he bringing to the table. In Zulu, in South people say indodamas.
Yeah.
You know? Like we're always saying, what is he bringing to the table? But
what are you doing?
You thinking about, if I get into a relationship right now, what am I bringing into the relationship?
Yeah.
I need to go to therapy so that I fix myself,
yeah.
so that I get into a relationship and I don't bring anxiety, you know,
yeah.
all those bad vibes.
And also, even if you go into a relationship and recognize that, okay, I'm one of those people that like, sometimes I get such anxiety, like I have moments where I'm like, it's too much, I might be in a depressive episode. But the thing is, I now know that that's what's going on with me. So I have the coping skills, and I'm constantly developing new ones. But I'm now in a space where I can articulate that to my partner and be like, listen, this is what I'm going through, and knowing that my worth to my partner is not me always being okay, always being sunshine. And I think it's even worse because I generally have a department of like light and brightness. So whenever I'm now in a low mood or something's not going right with me, sometimes I really struggle to articulate that and be like, how do I tell someone that I'm not well? Yeah. But so I had to be like that, like, you need to go to therapy. How are we doing with, like, are we trying to save or all of that? What kind of wife do you want to be? You know, or even if, okay, what kind of mother do you want? If I wanted to be a mother, what kind of mother do I want to be? I want to practice patience. I want to be more nurturing. I want to spend time with the people I value in my life. So even my relationship with my brothers and my family really changed, where I started to be more open and honest with them, and realizing that my vulnerability with them is not some kind of weakness. It's actually a matter of strength, because now we can see each other for who we truly are, and articulating things like, when you're talking with your family and someone says something, I've now come to I'm that person that's like, I'm hurt by this, and I will message them and say, you know, when you say this thing, I know you probably did not intend to harm me, but I found that really hurtful. And that was me really just trying to be like, I cannot assume that my husband will know everything that I feel. And how else am I going to be able to tell him, like, oh, babe, I'm not comfortable with this, or maybe I would want you to do this, and learning how to receive that from other people. Because now when we have conversations with my mom or anyone, and she'll be like, the way that you answered there,
you get it.
I feel like you would be disrespectful. And I'll be like, no, actually, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. Maybe it was just I was emotional about the subject, or I didn't mean to be disrespectful, and I apologize. Apologizing is a form of literally choosing yourself. Because someone was talking about how forgiveness is not just for the person. It's also you letting go of a history that you cannot rewrite.
So say that again.
Like, literally, forgiveness is a way of you letting go of a history that you can't rewrite, because we genuinely cannot rewrite it. Ooh. So forgive that person, and then what are we doing now? How are we going forward? So let me tell you, the dating life, I think a lot of what I'm doing now towards like dating is a lot of self-work, so that I know, right, Ropa, this is what you want. This is how are you going to present yourself how are you going to be with, you know, your husband or your sister-in-law or your mother-in-law, things like that. Because he is going to bring himself, and I'm assuming that I'm going to meet men that are good and are also doing work for themselves. Exactly. But this whole thing, and I think it really gave me so much more power in my dating life when I realized I also get to choose the person. Yes. I think we're taught as women, especially that chosen. You will be chosen. Yes. And then it also puts pressure on you, because now when you're like, oh, I'm 29 and I have no husband. What's wrong with me that no one's choosing me? No, but you have a right to choose someone too. And that's all.
Drops mic. where are we at now?
Right, so we've added some double cream. I don't know what the measurement is. Sometimes it's until the spirit. That's what says, and then you stop.
Say it's enough.
So if you want it really creamy, I would add a little bit more. So what I'm doing is I'm going to let it cook down a little bit because you don't want it to be too raw, but you also don't want to cook it too much.
Okay.
Then I'm going to add it to the pasta.
Okay.
And I saved about a half or quarter cup of pasta water. So it just helps to make everything feel more silky when you're eating it.
Okay.
So we're going to add that into the... You add a little bit now, and then when you add the pasta, you add a little bit more.
Okay. That's a new hack. I didn't know. Save some pasta water.
Yeah.
Cool. So after we do that and add it into the thingy,
You add a little bit more
the
cheese.
Okay.
So we'll add a little bit just so that it, melts and all that goodness happens.
That looks so good.
Guys, it's going to be so yummy.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, if you get accolades, you need
I'm just
to
gonna
tell
say,
them.
guys, I grated the cheese.
You just know that Novelle knows.
I grated the cheese.
We're putting a bit more cheese, and now I'm just putting the rest of the pasta water in.
Okay.
As you can see, everything looks creamy and nice.
So like, how long do we leave it for?
This is
Oh, this is
literally a few, like maybe 2-3 minutes,
And then it's
depending on also how you want it to be. Like if we wanted to add more cream, we could add it now.
Yeah.
But I think we're okay.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna close it so that everything kind of just gets to know each other, and then we'll serve in a bit.
Cool. Can't wait. Okay, cool. So we are done, and it looks yummy. You wanna show the peeps what it looks like?
Ooh, let's see.
Ooh, it looks so good. I cannot wait. Let's see. Let's do this.
Let's see what
Let's
happens.
rate my cooking. You should-
Honestly, this could be a make or break. So guys, add as much cheese as you want.
And the weather allows. The weather allows.
I'll show you.
This tastes so good. So anyway, guys, like I said, Ropa has things to do, but thanks, friend, for coming to cook for me when I was dying. I know I don't look like I'm dying, but I am dying inside.
It's the beauty.
But you
guys.
fake it till you make it.
Honestly, I said thank God for not looking like what we're going through.
Amen.
That's what we
I'll
need
drink
to do.
to that. Drink to that. So thank you, friend, for coming.
thank
Thank you for
for
cooking
having
for
me.
me. And yeah, the conversation, like we could talk forever and ever, but she'll be back at some
I'll be
point.
back.
Also, please do check out her podcast.
You can see my podcast and wherever you get podcasts.
I'll also add links in
yeah.
the description box below. And just as a thank you, I got you something.
Oh, look at this. You know I cry. I don't know why you do these things
I
anymore.
got you little something.
Oh, guys.
I saw this and they smell so good. So yeah, when you're journaling and watching, yeah, I
That's
just
the
thought to like.
if I knew you make me cry on this video.
So this is my thank you for
Thank you so
being
much.
so selfless, not just today, but always being so selfless. And I was telling her that like I don't know how many times she's come on my place and I haven't been to hers because things just never align. But she's so selfless and she will check up on me and buys me random stuff and all the nice things.
Oh,
so
thank you so much.
She's yeah, I love her.
I'm really not gonna cry on the YouTube
Don't
channel.
cry.
But guys, subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Like.
Yeah.
Share.
Uh-huh.
Comment. You'll see me in the comments because I was scared to make comments.
Why?
Because I just feel like, do you know what? I always feel like what's in my head, and then I say it on the YouTube comments. People are gonna be like, "Who is this girl?" What is she talking about?
Do all the
But
things,
yeah,
guys.
like, share, comment, subscribe, and tell people about Nova. This is an amazing channel. I really like this channel. So
Thank you, friend.
guys,
What can you
and
say? Yeah, you must say you like it.
make the pasta and tell me
Exactly.
how it goes.
All right.
And yeah,
Okay, this has been great. See you guys next time. Bye.
bye.